In the previous video, the elephant used its calmness and overwhelming charisma to keep the hyenas on their toes, but this time, you will witness a smaller creature, the warthog, fighting back with incredible wits and survival instincts when facing a lion. If you are passionate about breathtaking escapes and unbelievable survival stories in the wild, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow the next magical battles. Amid the cracking heat of the African savanna, the ground steamed under the scorching sun, not a cloud to obscure the glaring gray sky. The wind blew in dry gusts, carrying with it a cloud of dust, making every step of the animals here heavier than ever. The dry season has reached its peak, the grasslands are yellow, water is scarce, and the fight for survival becomes fiercer by the day. In that harsh picture, there are creatures that seem weak, but are resilient in overcoming fate. One of them is Warthog. Warthog, with its plump body and curved tusks like sickles, is not an image that makes others wary. They are not as tall as buffalo, not as fast as cheetahs, and not as ferocious as lions. But behind that clumsy appearance is a survival instinct that has been honed over millions of years of evolution. Each warthog is an expert at running away, reaching speeds of up to 30 miles per hour, 48 kilometers per h, and is capable of making sudden turns to throw off predators. And if forced to fight, they do not hesitate to turn around and launch a surprise counterattack, a bold but effective move. In contrast is the lion, the apex predator of the savanna. Standing out with a body weight of 120 to 190 kilograms, sharp teeth, and absolute muscular strength, lions can take down a prey in just a few pounces. Tall grasses are their closest allies, allowing them to ambush undetected. And warthogs are often on the lion's list of ideal targets, especially young or foraging ones. On a sultry afternoon typical of the dry season on the African savanna, as the rays of the sun gradually turned a harsh yellow, a mother warthog and her calf were searching for dry roots at the foot of an acacia bush. Across the clearing, a lioness spotted them. Not a sound, not a gasp, she crept along, blending into the yellow grass like a ghost. When the distance was only a few meters, the lion suddenly rushed out. A precise pounce on the calf, but the sound of the escape was also a warning bell. The mother warthog turned in a split second, charging hard at the predator. The sudden attack caused the lion to lose momentum for a moment, and both mother and child immediately rushed towards the familiar old cave. Although the lion tried to chase, the warthog's determination and familiarity with the terrain helped it escape death by a hair's breadth. The strong don't always win. In this land where the sun burns and the sand grinds, bravery is measured in more than claws and fangs. It's also in quick wit, in courage, in the ability to seize every fragile opportunity to survive another day. Though the warthogs had escaped, the land was far from peaceful. Even as the dust settled, another silent movement crept through the dry grass impala. Click like and continue to follow. Unlike the thick-bodied and fearless warthog, the impala is the embodiment of agility and alertness. With slender but sturdy legs, the impala can jump as far as 10 meters sand higher, 3 meters in a swoop. They don't fight, they run, avoiding any confrontation. But that doesn't mean they're weak. It's their quick wits and lightning reflexes that have helped them survive countless attacks by famous predators. Late in the afternoon, as the impalas gathered at the water's edge for their first sips of the day, the air suddenly thickened, and that was never by accident. From the opposite bank, beneath the mirror-like surface, a pair of eyes rose, motionless. The crocodile. No need to run, no need to chase. It just waited, and when a young impala stepped too close to the water's edge, the river broke in a swift pounce. But just then, a long roar rang out from the distance, startling the entire herd of impalas and sending them running. It was not the sound of hunting, it was the call of an African elephant. Possessing an outstanding height, up to 3.5 meters and weighing more than 6 tons, elephants are not afraid of crocodiles nor are they afraid of lions. They walk slowly but powerfully, pushing back all other animals with just their momentum. The herd of elephants approach the water without making a sound. They were silent giants, but when needed, they could become the fury of the savannah. In this way, the cruel cycle of Africa continues. Each species has a role, no one is redundant, and no 2 days are the same. Under the fading sunset on the horizon, the herd of elephants quietly withdrew from the water's edge, leaving deep footprints in the soft mud. But nature never stops moving. And when the giants disappear behind scattered acacia trees, other wanderers appear, zebras, their distinctive black and white stripes like living signs on the dry, cracked ground. Zebras are not alone. They often travel with antelopes and other animals of their kind because in the wild, more eyes means a higher chance of survival. Although they have no claws or fangs, thanks to their speed of nearly 65 kilometers per h and their extremely powerful kicking ability, zebras can react quickly to many attacks. However, they are always in the sights of a skilled killer. The cheetah, the fastest cat on the planet, suddenly bursts out from behind a bush. Within 3 seconds, it reaches speeds of up to 100 kilometers per h, closing the distance to its target in just a few heartbeats. A young zebra had been separated from its herd, and that was all the cheetah needed. No roar, no scream. Just the sound of a charge, the thud of hooves, and a life or death moment that lasted less than 30 seconds. When the dust settled, the hunt was over, success to the swift. And the next land opened up. Okavango, a vast floodplain in the middle of the Kalahari Desert, where green grass grows from clear water and herds of wildebeest swim across floating islands in search of new life. In the Okavango, there are not only cheetahs and zebras, but also giraffes, hyenas, wild dogs, living together in a chaotic breath, where life and death become one. So the strong one is not the best hunter, but the one who adapts the fastest. And in that wild symphony, each species has its own rhythm. Each moment is a chapter of survival, waiting to continue writing in the restless land and sky of Africa.